Hello, my name is AJ, Enoven Truck Body. I'm the Sacramento branch manager as well as the technical advisor here. And I'm going to go over some real quick things to get your E10 series truck. That's a 5 to 7 yard, 10-foot dump body. It is a power up, power down system. I'm going to show you some quick maintenance tips and things to look out for. First is, if you're calling for technical advice, there's a sticker on the door, and our number starts with a 5 or 7, and it'll allow us to identify which truck is yours and get you the help you need quickly. They're typically hot shift PTOs, which basically has electrical energy, starts the PTO and provides the hydraulic pressure, and the pump provides the pressure and the PTO provides the speed. So if the body's going up or down slow, you can give it a little gas and that will increase the speed. Now with a hydraulic power up, power down system, you want to make sure you keep the truck running with the PTO on when you're lowering the body. And we have a sticker to that effect where your rear view mirror is, but it is very important that you let your operators know if they turn the PTO off, there'll be nowhere for that oil to go, and it will push out through the vent cap of your hydraulic tank and make a mess, and that's what no one wants to do. So keep your PTO on and running. Now, speaking of PTOs, they're a bolt-on system. We torque them at the factory, but vibration is every enemy of torque. So about quarterly, you want to make sure that you're going and checking the bolts on your PTO and pump, make sure they stay tight, as well as after the first month of operation, crawl under there, make sure everything is staying good and tight from the factory. Now, every body up system will have a body up light. That is required by law, and it is a CHP fine, so you want to make sure it's in good working operation. So it is a simple circuit that creates the light in the dash, and that's the switch that'll turn it on and off. Now power will come from the battery box. It is hooked battery hot, and there will be a fuse in there marked body up light, or body up. So if the light doesn't go on, check the fuse. If not, make sure your connections are strong and tight here. Now, again, we call it an E10 because it's a 10-foot body. Any body that's put up in the air, you always want to make sure the safety prop is up when you're going to be underneath it doing any kind of maintenance. If any kind of human's going to be in this area, you want to make sure you're covered in case there's a hydraulic failure, especially if you're doing work on the hydraulics and cracking lines. Now we use our Champion hoist and subframe. These are 820 units. They do have Zerk fittings on all the round parts, the bolts that hold them in, and that allows for you to keep for smooth operation. So you want to grease that again about quarterly to make sure that you've got sufficient grease in there. Now the tailgate latch is either manual or air shift. If it's air shift, it's a simple operation. You push the button in the cab. If it's manual, it'll be at the top. You just roll that down. Either way, there's a cam adjustment right at the back that allows you to tighten it up or loosen it to keep the body tailgate either more secure or loosen up depending on the need. So if it is wearing out over time, you may want to give it a couple cranks to make sure it stays latched. Obviously, you don't want your tailgate coming open as you're going down the road. Now I'm going to run across the other side to show you the control valve and the hydraulic tank. So the hydraulic tank does have a sight glass in it. That was done to the factory, and that is done for a different operation, sadly. So if you fill to the sight glass, you're actually going to be overfilling it. So we want to fill to the halfway mark. It is a breather cap. So one, again, I'm going to emphasize keep your PTO running when you're raising and lowering the body. And two, when you fill it, you want to fill it slowly, cycle it so that it gets fluid on both sides of the cylinder. But really your cylinder is your main reservoir of oil and where most of the oil is for the system. So this is just a carrier overflow. So it doesn't take much oil in this tank to make sure that there's enough in the cylinder, okay? Now there's a control valve listed down here. The control valve takes the power from the PTO and pump and adjusts it top or bottom of the cylinder based on where you're going. And if you can see right here where there's a acorn cap at the end, that is your relief valve. The relief valve allows for adjustment to give more or less pressure. So if you're having trouble lifting the body, you're going to want to take that acorn off and screw it in clockwise to give it more lifting pressure. Also, check with me, but we can also help make sure that these are going to the correct end of the cylinder, because the valve is set up for 1500 psi aiming down and 3000 going up. The typical system is about 2500 to 2600 psi. If you're below 2400, you're going to have problems lifting the body with material in it. So again, if that's the issue, go for the relief valve and add it up. Now also, there's one more port on the top of the relief valve here. That allows for a pressure gauge, so you can put a pressure gauge in line, and that will tell you exactly what you need to know about the pressure and make sure you have adequate pressure to lift. Okay? If you have any questions, we're always available. We have a 1-year parts and labor warranty, and we stand behind our product. So until then, happy trucking.